Hello viewers, welcome to the Editorial Analysis by Drishti IAS. In this section, we regularly take editorials from various newspapers and news portals for a better understanding of various issues happening in India and around the globe. Dear viewers, in this section, we first try to link the editorial with our UPSC syllabus. Then we go analytical in order to understand some key points and at last some important concepts. Dear viewers, we truly hope that you like this initiative taken by Drishti IAS and your feedbacks are important for us. So kindly feel free to give your important feedbacks in the comment section. So without any further delay, let's commence our session.
Dear viewer, this video is available in Hindi as well. If you wish to watch it, please visit our Hindi YouTube channel, Drishti IAS. For your convenience, the link for this video in Hindi has been provided in the description below.
Today's editorial is taken from The Hindu, published on 9th March 2021. The title of today's editorial is "Tware Well, It Were Then Quickly." If we try to link today's editorial with our UPSC syllabus, we can link it with GS Paper 2, which has sections that include polity, constitution, governance and international relations. Some key points from today's editorial. The Biden administration has said it would like to reinstate the Iran nuclear deal, provided Iran returns to compliance with its terms. Iran, on its part, has said that it would be prepared to re-embrace the deal, provided the US lifts the sanctions first. Now, it seems that the Joe Biden administration is really very anxious to reinstate the Iran nuclear deal. However, the administration of United States of America has said that for that to happen, Iran has to return to compliance with the terms that were initially mentioned in the treaty. Whereas Iran, on the other side, has said that it too is also prepared to re-embrace the deal. However, the first condition is that the United States of America has to lift all the sanctions imposed over Iran. Now, who would make the first move is a delicate question, over which both willing but demure parties to a possible liaison often fret. Now, the most important thing here is that whosoever among both the countries will move or will take a first move, it is still something which is not quite sure of. Time for New Delhi to step forward and play a mutual confidant who helps things move along from remote yearning to realized intimacy. Now it is time for New Delhi to step up and take required initiatives in order to bring both the parties on the table so that a mutual agreement can be signed by both the countries and both the countries are getting whatever they are expecting. With oil pricing soaring above $70 a barrel, the rapprochement between the US and Iran is no longer just a desirable ruling or tensions in the world. Now, looking at the oil prices that are at a very high, or you can say that are right now are in a skyrocketing mode. The prices are at around $70 per barrel. So the union or the agreement between United States of America and Iran is absolutely desirable by all the parties, by all the nations of the world. It is what the world needs for fast recovery from the pandemic-induced global slump. Also, it should be noted that the world has already suffered a lot because of the pandemic. The economies of all the countries in the world have gone down, and plus if there is an extra pressure with respect to the crude oil market or with respect to the crude oil prices, the situation will be even worse for all the nations. So it is high time that both these countries should come and should actually make sure that whatever both the countries are requiring from each other is being given to both the countries. Okay. Now, if we talk about the present scenario, high crude prices can choke off growth directly and indirectly. It can add to the hardening or global commodity prices and give impetus to cost push inflation. Now see, if we talk about the increasing prices of crude oil, it can have a direct impact on the growth of the world economy. Also, indirectly, when the prices of crude oil are increasing, then definitely there will be a price rise in the various commodities, and it can actually give a boost to the cost push inflation. Every country right now is not in a state for an increased inflation due to the COVID pandemic. At the same time, fear of inflation can push up yields on bond, raising the cost of capital. Just when economic agents need all support, they can get to resume investment and feed growth. Saudi Arabia-led production cuts have kept global crude prices high. Now, Saudi Arabia has already reduced its production. Due to the less production, the prices of the global crude oil is definitely increasing. Recently, the Saudis declined to give in to New Delhi's appeal to lift production, advising India to use the reserve it had bought up to bat low prices. Now, recently, New Delhi made an appeal to Riyadh that it should actually lift that control over the production and it should start increasing more. However, an advice that India received from Saudi Arabia was that India should actually use the reserve oil which it had bought in order to fight the increasing prices. It is in the interest of most oil producing nations to keep crude prices elevated as many of them depends upon oil revenue. Now see, if we look at the another perspective, so all the economies, all the countries where the major source of revenue is from oil, for them it is very important to keep up the price rise of the crude oil because their economy is dependent only and only upon one source, and that is crude oil. So if the value of crude oil is decreased, the slump which they have seen during the corona pandemic definitely can impact their economies as well. However, it should be noted that during the COVID lockdown in most of the world, the crude oil prices came to a very low. Okay, so they have already suffered a lot during the COVID pandemic, and what they are exactly doing right now is they are just trying to make up to all the losses which they have incurred during the COVID-19 pandemic. Therefore, unless the shale producers of the United States start producing again, prices would stay high. Iran, if freed from sanction, could swiftly add some 2.5 million barrels a day to global crude supplies. That would cool off the oil prices. Now, the entire situation comes in, or you can say the ball is right now in the court of United States. Number one, United States shale gas producers should actually start producing. Okay, otherwise the prices would definitely go high. However, if Iran is given freedom from all the sanctions, or if all the sanctions are lifted from Iran, then Iran can definitely add 2.5 million barrels of oil per day, and definitely it can lower down the crude oil prices. The way forward, Iran will elect a new president in June. It does not serve US or global interest for a hardliner to get elected. Now, most important thing that is to be noted by the entire world and the United States of America is that presently the president of Iran, Mr. Hossein Rahmani, is a very moderate leader, and there is going to be election in Iran in the month of June, and Mr. Rouhani cannot participate in that because he has already served 2 terms. So it is expected that a hardliner might come into presidentship. If a hardliner comes, then it is going to be absolutely very difficult for United States of America to pursue that leader to sign the Iran nuclear deal. So the only time United States of America has got with itself is just these 3 months. While there are no dependable way of thwarting that eventuality, it is not difficult to see that prolongation or sanctions would sour the mood in Iran for any moderate. Also, it should be noted that Iranians, whether it is the hardliners, whether it is the moderates, they are now absolutely fed up with all the charges that have been imposed over Iran. Okay, any moderate can also feel very bad because, first of all the countries in the world, I'm talking about the major economies, when they signed the agreement with Iran, it was a mutual agreement. When Donald Trump came into power and he started accusing Iran of various things, these countries should have taken a side for Iran, but none of them actually took it. And ultimately what happened, that the Iran nuclear deal, it got over. Now, first of all, it should be noted that all the mistakes that have been done during Trump administration with respect to Iran, it should be studied carefully, and proper solution, proper initiative should be taken in order to bring a conclusion to this problem. Otherwise, what will happen is that the situation in Iran will go even worse, and the next president, whether a hardliner or moderate, will really find it difficult or will be in a very bad mood, very bad taste, because of the attitude that has been shown by the United States of America. The sooner the United States lifts its sanction against Iran and revives the nuclear deal, it is better. So it should be noted that it is absolutely the responsibility of United States of America now that it has to come forward and it has to lift all the sanctions against Iran. Okay? Otherwise, the situation is going to get even worse. So viewers, this was with today's editorial analysis. Now, a question that can be framed with reference to today's editorial is that analyze the impact of COVID-19 pandemic has had on the global oil sector. So viewers, I hope you liked today's editorial analysis. Thank you very much.